I got Dino Thunder. I got Dino Thunder. Sorry, just really excited. I got the Dino Thunder DVD yesterday. It's looking so pretty along with my collection of almost every other every Ranger series. I'm planning on getting Ranger as soon as possible. Dirk groaned, looking at the chessboard. Oh, almost forgot. Title screen. Power Rangers Guardians of Gaia Season 1, Episode 18. He seemingly been doing great early on in his game with Patrick, but now his pieces were practically all surrounded. One false move, and he can lose the whole game. Deciding to chance it, he reached over to move a pawn, only to hear Nikki clear her throat from across the room, giving her head a very slight shake. Opting against this move, he moved his hand to a rook, to which Nikki nodded a tiny bit. 2 lines, Patrick said as Dirk was about to move the rook. 1. You're trying to cheat against a blind man, which is kind of sick. 2. You should probably already know that Nikki's never beaten me at chess. Hey, come on! I beat you that one time! Waiting until I move one move away from checkmate and then turning the board around is still a win, Patrick replied. But it was kind of funny. Kind of funny? Layla asked as he entered the room. I almost started milk out of my nose. Hey, Lay, how are you? Dirk inquired, tilting his head. Well, getting a little tired of the sympathetic head tilt, Layla admitted, albeit with a small grin. Dirk's just worried about you, Layla, Nikki noted, trying to get up from her chair to walk over. To be fair, I know, Layla replied. I'm doing alright, I guess. Just trying to sort through all the false memories. They're mixed in pretty well with the real ones. Well, when Madeline gets back with Professor Snyder, she can help out with that, Patrick said. Dirk huffed. I still can't believe you let her off the hook so easy. Well, I figure she's been beating herself over it for the past, 6, 7 years? Nikki suggested, getting a nod from Layla. Besides, I can't believe the only thing worse than losing your little sister is losing her twice. Was this why she took the morpher? You know, that's what I always like to point out when I read that somebody wants a little more punishment for, say, a character like Luna and how, they easily forgave her, or, they easily forgave her for being Nightmare Moon. I want to point out, the girl spent about 1,000 years trapped on the moon. What more punishment do you want? I know, it's just, you could have at least gotten some guilt-inspired deeds out of her, Dirk noted. Do your laundry, scrub your Zords. Did your sister ever do that to you? When I royally screwed up, Dirk answered. Well, except the Zord thing. Speaking of which, what are we heading into town to do anyway? Put out more fires. Try to locate Raiden, Patrick replied. As much as I want to help him, I think they're wasting their time. If he doesn't want to be found, he won't be. Leah crossed her arms. Well, in case you're wrong, I've been working on something that might help him out. Just hope he takes it. Darkia turned to the dark chamber's door as it swung open. Walker stepping through with a shadowy mist flowing around his sides. Brother, welcome back. The dark warrior stopped as a pair of grotesque figures behind Walker stepped inside. They looked to be Venom Blots, but they were wearing high-tech armor of a sort on their chest and forearms and lower legs. They came complete with retractable hand cannons on their left hands, beam shields on their right, and visors across their eyes. Several tubes connected to various pieces of armor together. Ebony venom flowing through them, and, supposedly, directly into the Blots' bodies. Well, I see your trek to see the Metalurk turned out successful, Darky observed. How many we got? I brought 12 mecha blocks with me, Walker replied. Another 40 are being outfitted with armor and are being brought online. Well, you know, one of the Rangers recently headed out for a little romp, Darkia pointed out. We could save ourselves the need to have any more blocks converted if we brought the team down to 4. Good thinking, Walker said with an evil grin. Today, we finally annihilate the Guardians of Gaia. Malin sighed. pinning the last of her posters to one of the wooden posts in the Kendrite village.
That's all of them. Hope this works.
So did I, the professor replied, looking away.
We'll find him. Don't worry.
Madeline assured Professor Snyder. I know, Charles muttered. It's just, I wonder what happened to him. Why did he allow Dargoon to merge with them? What were the terms of their agreement?
I don't know, but he can't be off the deep end just yet, Madeline insisted. After all, he keeps saving us when we're in trouble.
Professor Snyder nodded. I suppose, still The two were interrupted when the sound of a female centaur screaming in terror. Looking off in that direction, Madeline's eyes widened as he spotted a pair of blots in the distance. Albeit, unlike any blots he had seen before, they were armored and had hand cannons they were using to open fire on the centaurs in the area.
Guys, we've got trouble at Kendrite Village, Madeline shouted into her communicator. There's...
Madeline cried out as she and Professor Snyder were hard in the back by two of the new mecha blots, stumbling into a hedge garden. Grabbing her blaster, Madeline quickly got back to her feet and shot at them, only for them to use beam shields outfitted in their right hands to block her blast.
Professor, go for cover, Madeline yelled,
Pulling down her crystal.
It's morphin' time!
As Professor Snyder ran for cover, Madeline placed the Thunderbird crystal inside her Crystal Blast morpher, aimed it at the mecha blots, pulling the trigger and shouting,
Guardians of Gaia, awaken!
The violet beam of lightning shot out, smacking off one blot's shield and knocking it back before engulfing Madeline, morphing her into the Violet Gaia Ranger. She then drew her Gaia saber, stabbing at the other, only for its beam shield to block the flame in front of its face. Violet Ranger then found herself getting pummeled by blasts from her left, falling to the ground as sparks flew off her chute. Looking up, she watched as a dozen mega blots, backed by 30 standard blots, confirms our location.
Great,
Madeline muttered as she got back to her feet, backing off.
I guess I don't get to make fun of Dirk or Pat for biting off more than I can chew anymore.
Just as the mega blots prepared to open fire again, they found themselves blasted first, as the other Rangers leaped into combat with their blasters. Caught off guard, the mega blots were knocked to the ground, smoke rising from their armor. You were saying, Maud? Frederick gasped, obviously grinning under his helmet.
You okay, sis?
Layla asked, putting a hand on Madeline's shoulder.
Yeah, just glad you guys made it.
Man, what is going on with these blots? Dirk inquired as the mega blots got back to their feet. They're all high-tech now.
Oh no, but let's clear them out,
Nikki ordered, raising her blaster and charging up a shot. The others following suit.
Quintuple metal blast!
The Rangers called, firing a combined, rainbow-colored blast at their 5 elements on the mecha blots. Fortunately, before they made contact, 6 mega blots got in front and held their beam shields up, and, to the team's dismay, actually canceled their attack completely. Before the team had time to react, the other 6 mega blots opened fire with their hand cannons, knocking the Rangers down. Ugh! Okay, that didn't work out so well, Dirk groaned.
Let's up the ante,
Nick commented as the team got back up.
Right!
Harris responded. The Rangers bring out their personal weapons. They ran in, weapons at the ready, as the standard blots flanking the mega blots charged them. Layla quickly went to work, leveling blots with the flame launcher, easily knocking 5 aside in one blast, only for a pair of mega blots to attack her away with their beam shields. Patrick vaulted over a pair of blots with his storm lance before bringing it down hard on one of the mega blots' beam shields. The blew his hand cannon clean off of his blaster. It was quickly knocked off by a barrage of claw shots from behind. Madeline struck down 7 blots with a flurry of stabs from her lightning daggers, while it was sandwiched between a pair of beam shields and blasted it feet away. Dirk managed to actually cleave one beam shield in half of his quake axe, but put so much force into it, he was quickly overwhelmed for the blast with the other mecha blots. Finally, Nikki managed to slash some cannons off a pair of mecha blots using her heat sabers, only to be tackled into the side of a hut with a pair of beam shields.
Enough of this,
Nikki sighed, dividing her sabers into the heat bow before grabbing her blaster in her holster, shooting one of the mecha blots off and managing to squirm out from under the other. She then pulled back on the string of her bow, a flaming arrow forming in her hand, and fired it at the mecha blot still standing. Blood was just barely able to block. The arrow instead sliced off one of the tubes of his arms, causing it to grow in pain as the ebony venom spread across the ground. Um, I just gotta say, one thing I've always loved about Sentai is that I do admire how, in order to promote the new toys, they do make the bad guys stronger and forcing the Rangers to get new weapons. This actually does make sense since this also promotes the theme of escalation, showing that the bad guys are willing to escalate and up the ante as well as the Rangers are. Sorry, I just wanted to talk about my love of Sentai for a bit. Thank you. Guys, we gotta aim for the tubes! Nikki ordered. Gotcha, but I think a little pounding up is a good idea too, Patrick called, getting a nod from the others. Crystal gauntlets! Rangers called, summoning their golden gauntlets and inserting the crystals. Guys of Gaia! Neural mode! Crystals quickly grew to fit their gauntlets, golden light and blazing in them on the mimesis of their Zords. The Rangers threw their fists up as a golden light poured out from the gauntlets, coating them with energy. The silver on their belts and the Gaia saber turned gold. Golden trim was added to their boots. Golden armbands materialized on their biceps. Finally, their suits changed from the standard colors to brighter, shiny ones. Ruby Ranger! Nikki exclaimed as she used her Gaia saber, with flames to slice apart the tubes, connecting the armor of the two mechabots facing her. Emerald Ranger! Patrick shouted, spinning around and whipping the emerald gust from his saber to cut the tubes off of three mechabots. Sapphire Ranger! Leia cried as he stabbed her saber down, torrents of water shooting up around her, then knocked three mechabots skyward and allowed her to cut their tubes. Amber Ranger! Dirk roared as he stomped hard, causing the ground around him to shake, tripping up two mechabots and giving them a chance to clean their tubes off. And it's a Ranger! Malin called as he leaped between the last two mechabots like a bolt of lightning, slicing their tubes apart. With all the mechabots losing ebony venom, the Rangers quickly formed up, raising their blasters and swords as the power from their crystals poured out from their gauntlets onto both. Quintuple Mental Blast and Slash! The Rangers shouted, firing their blasters to launch bolt-shaped energy bursts before sending slashes of power after them, creating massive arrow-like blasts that impacted with the megablocks. Dozens of monsters all fell to the ground in an explosion, dark mist rising up into the air for a moment, falling down into puddles of ebony venom on the ground. The chemicals then raced towards each other, forming one large puddle, before launching itself into the sky. The heck is going on now? Dirk demanded. The Amber Ranger wouldn't have to wait long for an answer. Soon, the mass of ebony venom in the sky expanded into a giant, blubbery, humanoid glob of chemicals. It roared as it stomped through the woods, heading towards the Kenterai village with evil intent. It's some kind of blob bot, Layla observed. Thanks for the update. Now let's take it out, Patrick replied as he, Layla, and Nikki inserted the unicorn, turtle, and Kuchine swords into their blasters. We need Gaia sword power now! The team summoned, rays of light coming from their gauntlets and blasters. Within moments, all 8 of their Gaia Zords were on the scene, ready to battle. The Rangers teleporting up to their 5 primary Zords. Rangers, log on! Nikki ordered as he plugged her weapons into their slots. Patrick here, ready to clean up this mess. Leia, standing by for decontamination. Dirk's here and ready to get down and dirty. Let's blow this blob, Malin yelled. I still say that the Power Rangers movie really needed Kimberly to say that there was a nice stereo inside her cockpit. Or a nice sound system. The blob bot roared, suddenly reforming itself into a giant ball of goop that rolled across the ground at high speeds. You do not mess with Super Happy Fun Ball. It slammed past Leviathan, Unicorn, Turtle, and Kuchine Zords, knocking them aside, before the behemoth Zord slammed its horn into the monster, digging into the ground and keeping it in place. However, the blob simply reformed again, this time becoming a giant slime that sprawled itself across the behemoth Zord, burning it with acid. Get this thing off me! Dark yelled as the sparks flew from his cockpit. Hang on, Doc! Patrick cried as the Hippogriff Zord slammed its host down onto the blob bot, trying to get it off of the behemoth Zord, only for it to spread onto the Hippogriff and begin burning it too. Luckily, by this point, Leviathan's sword had recovered,
blasting the blob with icy breath that froze it in its tracks. The Phoenix and Thunderbird Zords then fried it with fire and lightning, blasting it off the Zords and sending it tumbling across the ground before reforming into its humanoid shape.
Now what you got?
Malin taunted. The Blobot let out a horrible howl before spraying acid across the airborne Zords, sending him tumbling to the ground. He slammed his hands down, sending electricity that struck all the Zords hard.
It's sapping our energy!
My controls aren't responding! We gotta break free, you guys! Nikki called. The Bloodbot crackled, charging into a giant steamroller of sorts that bellowed across the ground, looking to flatten the helpless Zords. However, before it could, a trio of indigo, white, and black beams of light flew, entering a nearby dark cloud. With a roar, the Dragon Sword flew out and blasted the Bloodbot with its indigo flame breath, stopping in its tracks. Wolf and Lion Zords quickly followed, raking their claws across the monster and knocking it back into its resumed human form. It's the Light of Swords! Patrick said. He saved us again!
Guys, our swords are free, but we only got enough power for one good attack,
Layla called, starting to read outs on her screen. Hey, let's finish this, now, while we've got the chance! Nikki ordered, all 11 Zords charging the Blobbot. The Gaia Zords all opened their jaws wide, eliciting red, green, blue, orange, violet, aquamarine, pink, silver, indigo, white, and black beams all into blood, causing its bodies to bulge out in places before imploding. The emanating venom splattered across the ground before dissolving into dark mist that evaporated into the sky. Oh, man, I can't believe we were almost blob bait, Dirk groaned, laying back in his seat. Layla, how about I just read us looking? Nikki said, asked the Sapphire Ranger.
The swords took a lot of damage, but they look like they're going to be okay,
Layla replied. Now that the fight's over anyway. Then we should probably pick up the professor and head back to the library and call it a day, Patrick suggested.
Oh crap, he's still down in the village!
Melon moaned, sweat dropping.
Hope he remembers to stay hidden.
Draining let out a long sigh, watching the battle wrap up in the woods, outside the Cantorai village, from his vantage point, topped the tallest tree in the forest. Now, with the monsters gone, all that was left was summon the Dragon Sword for a pickup and... Dragon! The boy heard a familiar call, looking down to spot the last person he wanted to find him. His father. Please, son, don't run, let's talk! Dragon looked away, clutching his Dragon Buster. I'm sorry, Dad. I just can't right now. Dragon, please. If there's something wrong, tell me, Charles insisted, scrambling to climb the tree. Whatever's happened to you, I can help you. No, Dad! Dragon yelled, startling his father, as he never once raised his voice to him before. You can't! You're the last person who can! Professor Snyder blinked, confused. I don't understand. I'm the last person why am I the last person who can help? Dragon clenched his fist. That deal I made with Drayden. Dragon, I wanted to be my own person, not just a cheap copy of you. The professor's eyes widened. In shock as Drayden went on. I know it's not your fault, but all my life, all I ever done is what you did. At first, it was just to make you proud of me. But after a while, I realized that every move I made, every decision, was all just a poor imitation of everything you'd done in your life. I just wanted to be my own man. And the Darkmoon made me an offer I couldn't refuse. The darkness that would help me become my own self. And all I have to do was let him merge his consciousness with my own body for a while, and some ions he needed. No one was supposed to get hurt, I swear! Charles shook his head. Drayden, why didn't you say anything? Why did you let it build to this point? I know, and I'm sorry, but I just couldn't, Drayden muttered, gripping the Dragon Buster tire. But now, I got what I wanted, and it terrifies me. Even with Darkmoon gone, I can still feel the darkness inside of me. What if I'm tainted somehow? Drayden, you're not tainted, Professor Snyder argued, nearly reaching the top of the tree. The fact you saved the Rangers as many times as you have proves that. Maybe I could still do the right thing, but I can't chance it right now. Drayden yelled, leaping off the tree as the Dragon Sword swooped past, grabbing its talons. Sorry, but I still have things to do. The professor watched, as the dragon sword flew off, feeling defeated. With that, he carefully climbed back down to the ground, just as the Rangers arrived, and having dropped out of the mineral mode, and came looking for him. Was that Drayden? Dirk asked, getting a sad nod from the professor, before turning back to Nikki. Think we could catch him? Don't bother, Charles muttered, walking away. We can't help him. Only he can help himself now.
Melon shook her head. Professor,
Before the Violet Ranger could finish, the group was knocked to the ground by the wake of a large explosion, which leveled several trees. Looking ahead, the team watched as Walker, Darkia, Spantis, and a group of about 50 Blots marched towards them. Walker smiling evilly as they struggled to get back to their feet. Oh, I'm sorry. Did someone blow the whistle when my monster was destroyed? Walker inquired. The game isn't over just yet. You may have managed to beat my new Mecha Blots, but you did so at the great expense of your own power. Nikki grit her teeth hard. Not enough to take us down just yet. We'll see. Walker yelled, clutching his staff in both hands as forces began to charge. Today, I will wipe you off the face of Gaia myself! Drain's eyes widened as he heard the large boom in the distance behind him. The dragon's sword came to a halt, hovering in midair as Drain looked back, spotting the explosion in the forest he had once been standing in, and where he left his father. His face paled at what could be happening to him, and to the Rangers, as they had been drained from the last fight. I should help them, Drain thought, clenching his fist, but I don't know if I can. I can't face them! Still so afraid of Jordan? A voice asked, the ice screen draining off the dragon sword. Looking into the sword's other talon, Drain found himself face to face with Jawar. A sibling stared into his eyes. Jawar, Drain said, feeling his throat dry. How did you? I'm not really here, Jawar replied. This is just a projection of myself, created through hard light. I'm monitoring the battle from the ancient library, Drayden. They need your help. Drain looked away in shame. But I can't! The darkness inside of me! It's perfectly normal. Jawar cut in, surprising Drayden. Yes, I was monitoring your conversation as well. I'm a wizard, Drayden, and while I may not have the power I once had, I could have come to you any time you sent the Zords to help the others, but I didn't. Trying to make you talk would be pointless, not to mention be a bit on the unethical side of things. I chose to wait and watch for you to tell the others what was really going on. How can you say that darkness is normal? Drain demanded. Look what it's done to this world. It's twisted into a nightmare! It wasn't the darkness that did that. Jawar countered, confusing Drayden. Darkness is an element like any other. It had a guardian of Gaia, just the same as others. The one responsible for the damage under Gaia is Dradarius, and those who are served under him. They wrought the darkness into a terrible weapon. They were creatures, like the Dark Elves, that belonged to the darkness for ages, lived in the dark zones peacefully, until Dradarius took it over. Now they are scattered across the world, hiding in bubble shields because of what he did. Drain's lip trembled as he took all the information in. The darkness is the enemy? Jawar shook his head. No, it's simply having its strings pulled by a very evil man. It's true, you have darkness inside of you, but that does not make you evil. It makes you dark, different. That does not equal evil. Drain clung to the dragon sword's talon, ready to cry. I'm not evil. Are you sure? Positive, Drayden. Jawar replied with a smile. More so, regardless of how it came to be. Your actions since being freed from Dragon's control prove that you are a guardian of Gaia. Right now, your fellow guardians need help. So what are you going to do, guardian of darkness? Drayden clenched his fist with one hand, feeling his heart beat against his palm. Yes, there was darkness there, but he could practically taste and smell it. But it was still a heart, same as any other, the same as the Rangers. A heart with the desire to protect against people like Dradarius and Walker. He looked back to Jawar, or rather his projection. came to a conclusion in his mind. Nikki cried out as Walker, Darkia, and Spantus all launched a joint energy blast from their weapons at her and the other Rangers, knocking it back down to the ground and nearly out of Morth. All the while, Professor Snyder watched helplessly from a distance. She winced as he dug into the ground, trying to get back up. As Walker aimed his staff at the group again, the Salamaster let you finish them off, only for Nikki to load a heap bow with an arrow and fire at the oncoming black fireball, canceling out but knocking the bow in her hands into a salting shockwave. Walker growled, "You know, Nikki, you've gotten to be something of an annoyance, and frankly, I think it's time I put you out of my misery." Just as Walker was about to charge another attack, though, he was interrupted by the dragon Gaia sword flying overhead, a slash of indigo light cutting into the ground before him. As he backed off, he soon found Raiden standing in his way, Dragon Buster resting on his shoulder. "How about I put you out of ours?" Drayden suggested. "Drayden!" Patrick called. "You came back!"
Told you so.
Layla said with a grin, as the Rangers dragged themselves back to their feet. Walker huffed in anger. "Fine then. You want to stand against me? I'll annihilate you myself." With that, Walker fired a blast at Dark Flame at Drayden, only for the indigo-streaked brunette to block it with the flat side of his sword. Then, turning the blade, Drayden actually cleaved through the fire with indigo light, forcing the two apart further. Walker looked irate, while Drayden kept up his confident front. More so as the Rangers quickly formed up with him. "Drayden, I know you feel responsible for what happened, but we need to beat them as a team," Nikki said. "Think you could do that?" Drayden nodded hesitantly. Just as Layla pressed a thumb on her buckle, summoning a device with a wrist strap shaped like the dragon sword head in the palm of her hand. "What's that?"
It's the Dragomax Morpher.
Layla explained.
Yes! Wrist strap Morpher!
"What?" "I have a thing for wrist strap morphers. They are so cool looking to have, and there are so many poses you can pull off with them. They're just so awesome to wield. They're like my favorite morphers of all time to wield. And they're kind of iconic, Sentai-wise."
I built it after taking my crystal gauntlet apart and seeing exactly what went into the instructions. They blueprinted the design and then reworked it to work with your dark element. I couldn't test it without your crystals, but...
Drayden looked back to his group, to his father, who gave them a small nod. "Okay, I'll give it a shot. Thanks, Layla." Walker, Darky, and Spantus, and all the blocks prepared for battle, as Drayden took a step forward. He strapped the Draco Max Morpher to his left wrist, pulled his Dragon Crystal from his Dragoon Buster, seizing the latter. "It's time to start cleansing the dark of monsters like you." "It's Morphin time!" Flicking the jaws of the Draco Max Morpher open, Draco inserted the Dragon Crystal into them before shouting, calling out, "Indigo power!" Throwing his fist up, a dark light burst out from the Morpher, coating his body, and a razor suit materialized onto him. It resembled the others, the white five-pointed star of their suits, replaced with a black six-pointed star. He possessed a black belt, armbands, and the sheaths on his back, like the one he wore outside of Morph. His main color was indigo, and his helmet had a clear dragon motif. "What? No shield?" "Guardian of Darkness!" Drayden shouted as indigo smoke swirled around him. "Indigo! Flajar!"
Oh, just great. Darkia moaned. First there was 5, then 6, now 7.
Just be glad you're not facing off against the Deca Rangers. Then you'd be facing off against 11.
11?
Yeah. We've got the main 5, Deca Break, Deca Bright, Deca Master, Deca Swan, Deca Gold. I think I'm missing one. I mean, I guess you could count Jasmine's little child as the soon-to-be next SPD Ranger. It won't matter if we stern them right here and now, Walker growled. Okay, I know I don't usually normally use this voice for Spantis, but I got to do this. Exterminate! Spantis warned. Exterminate! Power Rangers! The 6 Rangers called, getting their second wind and charging the enemy. Fight, we need a hero, or cross my mind. Personally, I prefer the idea of using the remix of Unite, getting their second wind and charging the enemy. Dirk immediately went for a pack of blots, giving a running boot to the head of one, destroying it immediately. He then swung his arms around, clotheslining a pair, before grabbing a hold of one and pressing it over his head, and dropping it down behind him, across the guts of fallen bots. Then, with a roar, the Orange Ranger tackled the 3 straight through a tree. A few feet away, Layla and Madeline leapt to the opposing sides of the Blood Squad, tossing each other on their side arms to leave Madeline with dual swords and Layla with dual blasters. The two went to work, cutting and shooting blots down all around, before charging up opposing attacks. The two sent a watery blast and violent lightning slash towards the center of the pack, blowing most down before the attacks exploded in the middle, taking the rest out. Spantis smash! Spantis roared, swinging his scythe-like blades at Drayden. However, the Indigo Ranger was too fast, flipping back onto his hands, kicking the sides apart, before springing forward again and headbutting the monster. Spantis backed up a couple of steps. Drayden spun around and gave a harsh elbow to Spantis' chin. Then he grabbed him by the head and then forced a knee to his face. Spantis tumbled in a tree, groaning in pain. But soon, Drayden limping out with both knees forward, knocking the Sphinx Mantis hybrid lightless down, along with the tree behind him. Patrick did a front roll before leaping up and slashing at Darkiel with his Gaia saber. The Dark Warrior just barely managing to block with their fists.
Running low on tricks, Green.
The thing with the rocks,
Patrick replied, planting a hand down and kicking Darkiel's weapon away, then spun on his back and slashed her across the armor, knocking her aside.
Yeah, a lot was better. Unicorn sword!
Nikki called, summoning the miniature unicorn sword and inserting the matching silver crystal inside before locking weapons with Walker. The two pushed at each other, Walker grinning evilly as Dark Energy pushed around him.
Come on, you should know you're no match for me by now, Walker mocked. None of your moves will work on me. Try this one,
Nikki shouted, dragging the unicorn sword across the dark staff of the Wyvern and sending silver sparks across it. Then she spun around, kicking Walker in the gut and hitting her buckle, before facing him with the bronze suka in hand, quickly loading it with the unicorn sword and focus crystals as Necromancer recovered.
Bronzuka, fire!
Nikki yelled, firing an effigy of the unicorn sword at Walker, who, despite blocking it with his staff, was still knocked several feet away before tumbling across the ground.
Dragon Buster!
Drayden exclaimed, drawing his large sword from his back. Then removed the dragon crystal from his morpher. Instead, placing it in the wolf and lion's crystals into the sword's hilt, Spantis roared in anger as he got back to his feet, charging the Indigo Ranger with his sword, glowing of indigo, white, and black light, the dragon's eyes on the hilt spinning wildly.
I'm taking you first down, Spantis!
Drayden shouted, raising his blade and grabbing a hold of it with both hands.
Shadow break!
Bringing his sword down hard, Drayden released an indigo, white, and black slash of energy straight down the middle of Spantis' body. He then turned away, seizing his blade as sparks flew from the Spantis' body, the monster letting out a horrible bellow as he fell to the ground in an explosion, dark smoke pouring up into the sky.
Spantis!
Walker screamed, eyes wide in horror.
No, he was my greatest creation, my most loyal ally!
He's not done yet, Darkiel yelled, regrouping with her brother. Make him grow! Hurry! Walker growled, raising his staff into the sky. Dark staff of the Wyvern.
Make my Spantis grow!
The Wyvern headed atop the Soundmaster's staff, clumping his jaws, spewing dark flames in the smog that was once Spantis. The smoke began to grow and reform, until a few minutes later, a giant-sized Spantis towered over them. Walker then opened a portal to the dark chamber, he and Darkiel retreating through it. Uh-oh, Leia cried. The swords haven't had a chance to recover from last fight.
Guys, my sword should be still have plenty in the tank, Drain suggested. Let me finish this. Nikki nodded. Okay, be careful. Right, Drain replied, before drawing the Dragon Buster, lifting into the sky. I need Gaia Sword power now! The Dragon Buster released three beams of indigo, white, and black light into the sky, entering a dark fog that seemingly rolled down from nowhere. Of course, that's what happens when you have a cool sword. A trio of loud roars pierced the fog as it began to dissipate, revealing Drain's dragon, wolf, and lion swords. Drain then lifted up and teleported into the Dragon Sword's cockpit, planting his feet into the footholds and inserting the Dragon Buster into its designated panel. Gaia Swords, combine! Drain ordered, the Dragon Sword twisting its lengthy body around to form legs and torso, while the wolf and lion swords formed the arms. The three swords connected together, and while black heads splitting out on the top. Dragon Megazord, power up! Spentis, annihilate! Spentis roared at the top of his lungs, charging the Megazord. Annihilate this! Dragon shouted. The wings folded down on the side of the Megazord, opening to release the energy burst at the monster. While Spentis managed to leap up and over the blast, slicing its scythe-like blades down, the Dragoon Megazord caught them in the wolf and lion jaws before forming its magnificent hands, and fired a pair of dark energy orbs from said jaws, which blew away the size and Spentis held in pain. Hope you like something spicy! Drain yelled. The Dragon Sword's jaws into Megazord's chest, opening to spew dark flames across Spentis, knocking him to the ground. However, much to the monster's credit, he quickly rolled back to his feet, leaped up, and delivered a drop kick to the Dragoon Megazord, sending it stumbling a bit. Okay, I'm through with playing with you! Drain declared, the Dragon Megazord powering up as dragon, wolf, and lion's jaws opened widely. Spentis has roared back to the robot, charging at it again. Black Light Burst! Drain shouted. The Dragoon Megazord, releasing a trio of indigo, white, and black energy orbs, whence combined into one massive spear and flew straight at Spentis. The blast overwhelmed the monster, utterly demolishing him as his body vaporized into nothingness. Not even Black escaped the blast. Darn it! I like Spentis. He is a fun character. I like that type of general. Jerk. And let that be a lesson to evil hiding in the dark, Drain announced. From now on, the Indigo Ranger is here to take you all down! Dara smiled as he watched the 6 Rangers and Charles enter the main chamber of the ancient library, all looking far more cheerful than he had for a few days now. Nikki and the others quickly took their seats around the table, Charles and Drain opening it up to stand at the opposite end from Jarwar as he looked him over. Oh, and I think the new series is Koryu Ranger. There are 12 Rangers there. Rangers, at last. The 6 Guardians of Gaia are united. Jarwar declared with a warm smile.
7, Jarwar.
Leo quickly pointed out.
Don't forget, you're part of this team too.
Jarwar nodded. Of course, nonetheless. The point is that where else we should be. One team, one unit. Together, we might be able to turn back the forces of evil. Drain cleared his throat, getting everyone's attention. Jarwar, if I may, we might have another advantage.
What's up, Drayden?
Alan asked. Drain sighed, walking around the table. As you guys know, I saw everything that Darkroon made me do. Every last action. Dirk shifted uncomfortably as Drain headed to the viewing club.
And?
And I made sure to commit certain things to memory. Drain said with a grin, tracing a finger along the viewing club, where everything is. In particular, Patrick nearly knocked over his chair, standing straight up in shock. You know what the enemy base is. Drain nodded. If we can bring Walker and Darkia down, that'll mean Darius won't have Gerald's lead his army. He lost a major resource. One problem, Tower interjected. That area is one of the dark zones. Plots roam the area unchecked. I doubt I could give assistance in any way once you're inside. The team all collectively looked at each other at this, looking for an answer, till eventually all heads towards Nikki. Putting a hand to her chin, she walked up and looked over the viewing globe, thinking hard until eventually she came to a conclusion. It was a hard call to make, but ultimately she knew it was their best chance of success as she turned back to the others.
Walker's constantly been bringing his army of flats and monsters to our front door, Nikki declared. I think it's about time we got our army to march on his.
Oh, hell yes!
Oh, this just means that something big is about to happen and I can't wait. You know, I do so love it when there's a actual reason for why the Rangers can't go off and attack the main enemy base. And a lot of times with Rangers, after the first 3 seasons, there are. Either you got something like the Machine Empire that are too strong, or Demon Tox is missing, or the Rangers are just too busy hunting down Zordon. So, a really good Ranger series knows to explain why the Rangers just can't go in and proceed to kick all kinds of booty with the main forces, or drop the giant Megazord. Personally, when it came to Rita, I always just assumed that they had a really cool force field that blocked it. You know how it is. Force field stops everything. But here, now they got an extra weapon on hand. Oh, this is going to be so bright. Speaking of which, this did bring out a surprise. I'm not used to seeing a general, like, say, Mantis dying in this type of story. I'm so used to just seeing them, staying around for a little bit longer. Oh, well, I guess since we're nearing the last few chapters, I guess that it only makes sense for that type of thing to happen. Well, few chapters of this season. I also found that seeing Drayden achieving his more form was just pretty dang cool. Well, see you guys next week for something really special. Janae?